My name is Mike Droessler. I'm the co-founder of Sloane Men, the maker of the invisible undershirt. Started the company about 3 years ago out of business school. I co-founded it with a classmate of mine and his wife at USC. We have the product manufactured in LA, so it's a kind of a long distance thing that we're all working. But that's the setup. It's something that we're very passionate about. My friend Jason and myself each had issues with our undershirts. Started talking at school, thought, okay, there's probably a solution for the issues that we had, and couldn't find anything at all. So from there, we said, I think we can do something on our own, and put it together, and started it right after business school. It's actually a funny story, because Jason is an idea guy, and we actually lived together in business school, so we constantly had different ideas. He came up with this undershirt idea, which I have a personal passion for, even from the time I was a kid. I always would sweat. I'd go to dances in like 7th grade and bring a change of clothes because I would get so hot and so sweaty. And he came up with this idea, let's have something more breathable. It's really, really light. It can cool you down. It's actually something more absorbent than a cotton undershirt. So I was bought in because I've been passionate about it and always struggled with my undershirt. And then he was an investment banker before business school, had very nice shirt, pants, shoes, everything, and like a $4 white cotton undershirt that you could see underneath his nice shirt. So it's something he was very passionate about. And I think that was the key to it, is we both found something that we really, really loved and had an issue with, and something that we really could put our time into and invest. So I think that was the key for us, is we both were super passionate about that one thing. And then once we found this idea, I was fine investing and doing as much as I can to make it successful. So the name, and what we wanted to do is have this be a premium undershirt company. We want guys who can afford nice things and afford a $34 undershirt. So we wanted to make sure the name was premium. And we had a lot of different ideas. The way that it kind of came together is the idea materialized when Jason and I were on a golf trip in Europe. So we're there just talking about things, and we decided that's when we really want to do the company. Sloane Street is a street in London where it's the home of bespoke tailoring. So very premium. I think maybe people don't recognize that, but that's where the background is. So we wanted to tie that name, which is very premium, to kind of the story that we had of where we came up with the idea. And then we wanted to kind of represent like who this guy is. So it's Sloane, the street, and then we want these guys to dress better, to be better. And I think that was the combination of that, and then it's premium sounding. So like when everyone hears it, it's like, okay, cool. Like they understand that this could be a premium company. And that's how it all came together. It's an original concept. I'd say the key, and what no other competitor has, is the skin-toned, the flesh tone color. So we have the skin tone for white guys, brown guys, and black guys. And you'll see there's competitors out there, a couple, and it's still a niche product. We're talking premium undershirts. Guys are used to spending a few dollars on their own undershirts, and we're talking about spending $34 on their undershirt. So it's a niche. But within that, there's no company that has the invisibility aspect of it. So we're trying to make that an issue, to make sure guys know that you can have a comfortable undershirt, but if you can still see it at your arms and on your neck, there's a style issue that's going on there. So that's our niche, and that's what we really want to talk about. And that's what we always try to talk about, is the skin tone piece, and not the other. The other benefits are important, but that's our main benefit. The development of everything that we do is who the consumer is, and we bake everything around that. So I won't go into tons of detail, but it's an urban male, successful, does well in his life, and cares about his appearance. He wants to have nice hair, nice fitted shirt. He knows what slim fit jeans are. He might have some nice shoes, but he cares about his appearance and is willing to pay for that. And we want to make sure he knows about this other issue, because I think there's a lot of guys out there, and they're even on my floor in my office, who make a lot of money. They do really well, they have nice things, and they have a $4 undershirt that's all craggly here. You can see it straight through their white button-down shirt, and it just looks tacky,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But they're successful and they can afford it, and I want to make sure that they know that there's an issue that they're having with this undershirt. So that's the guy we're trying to reach and make sure he knows that undershirt is not matching with the rest of his appearance. And the guy and how do we find them is tough, and we're still at small stage trying to grow, and we're trying to find where they are through websites. Where do they shop? They're probably on Gilt Men, Jack Threads, different sites where you can find premium clothing like that. And that's, I think, the next stage we want to get to, is making sure our product is in front of them in places that they're shopping. Core consumer are guys that have undershirts now, and we realize it's a style issue. The key is making sure that the guys who have undershirts now, they look bad. Once we start getting those guys, then we can start talking about other benefits and maybe being able to wear your button-down shirt longer because you're not perspiring on it at all, and the issues that has for your shirt. But that is a problem that we can solve later, but the key is the fashion sense. I actually take a lot away from what I do. I mean, I do brand management. We do a lot of consumer research, a lot of packaging, a lot of digital marketing, that although it's at a very high level, tens of millions of dollars, that the core of it is actually very applicable to what I do. So I take bits and pieces of it and apply that. I'll try to directly to what we're doing. Obviously, the products are totally different. I have a fraction of the dollars. So I think what I learn is what are the core things. If I really just had a fraction of the money, what is working on all the stuff that I do on my big job, and applying those things to my smaller job. I think a lot of the consumer learning stuff, we take a lot of that away at P&G. Who the person is, what they're going to be attracted to, what kind of content do they want to see, what kind of packaging would they be really, really interested in, what should our models look like. I mean, very, very detailed stuff. But that all comes from the consumer, and who do they want to see this big buff guy or like a little guy? Do they want style tips, or do they think they know everything and we don't want style tips? So I think that's probably the core thing, is just understanding the consumer. And I learned some of that at business school, but we dig so deep into it at my day job that I take that away. I think the other big thing is digital marketing. We do a lot, and that's something that Procter & Gamble is trying to get into. So they invest a lot of money. Some of the stuff works, and some of the stuff doesn't work. And I really try to take away what those few things are that are working, as far as Facebook and Twitter. What content does really, really well, and I think it's a challenge for everyone. And we don't have it right. When you're just getting started, the money is so important. So we netted $15,000 for inventory, but if we did better and I had another 15, another 20, another 50, those dollars, doesn't sound like a lot of money, but when you're just bootstrapping, that's Google search stuff, that's social media dollars. Maybe we do some PR. We have samples that we can start sending out to people to try, whereas when you're kind of just starting off, I can't send a $34 undershirt to 1,000 people. Being naive and starting that, okay, we're going to start this thing. I'll call Macy's up, talk to the buyer.
That didn't work?
Yeah. And there's a couple guys from USC, and they're going to love the product and have a big order, and then the thing's just going to happen. And we've talked to every retailer imaginable, and the feedback is, you guys need to do this on your own and get into boutiques. I need to see proven sales, proven logistically that you can manage a bigger supply, and that was a little eye-opening. So now we're on year 2 of selling, and it's great. And I think the growth is good, but for us, with all the work that we put into it ahead of time to get the website and the design, the logo, getting the shirt made, vendors, that when it goes live, you think something big is going to happen, and you wish it happened. But I think it was humbling a little bit for me to see that it takes a lot of work to get to a point where you can be successful, and I think we're successful right now. But I really thought that Macy's was going to be like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever, and have huge orders. But no. So I think it's just having patience, understanding that this is a long-term play, and that goes back into having passion for what you do. And if you're just in it for the money and getting paid after 6 months, you'll quit. Like it takes too much time, too much money, too much effort if you're not passionate about it. So luckily, we're both very passionate, and we keep on going and all the bumps. But I think that's a big learning for me, is don't go in it thinking you're going to make $1 million in the first 6 months and that's it, because it's probably not going to happen.
There you go. Couldn't have said it better, man.